Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of season two of Online OffStream Podcast. It's me, Razzie, and I'm here with.
Estella, hi everyone. Happy season 2.
Woohoo!
Yay. Round of applause. We made it.
Yippee! We did,
Yippee.
we did. We finished a full season, what we're considering a season of our podcast. And now we're on our next season of just us yapping and talking about things, hanging out with you guys in a whole different format, having you guys get to know us and listen to our podcast a little bit. And we get to know you guys more through the podcast, which is pretty neat.
It's very exciting to be back for season 2. We have a lot in store this season, a lot of things that we teased a little bit for last season. But today we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about kind of what to expect. I think we've been able to put a lot of thought and effort into season 2 because we know what we love to talk about here on the podcast. It's really fun getting to share a little bit more insight into who we are as people in a different light than on
Hmm.
Twitch or any of our other socials. So I think we're gonna mostly this episode just talk a little bit about kind of what to expect and some of the fun, exciting things. Obviously, if you're on season 2 and you've listened to all of our other stuff, we yap.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
There's
just
so much
that's
yapping.
just happened.
That's just what
It
we
just
do. We yap
happened.
away. We literally we'll have a topic and then we kind of get sidetracked and then we literally just yap away.
That's a very good description though of like our normal conversations though.
Yeah.
Like it's a very authentic experience recording our podcast because we talk about everything and anything at random times
Yep.
and it works for us and it seems to be working for the podcast because you guys have been so supportive and so excited about all the new stuff coming out. So, thank you to everyone who has been listening to season 1 and we hope you're excited for season 2.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. We're going to keep this podcast going for as long as we can because it's a fun little project that we've been doing.
Yeah.
And not only are we enjoying it, you all are enjoying it as well. We have like a lot of big plans for the podcast and for the future, which is pretty neat. And I'm really excited for all of those plans to like unfold and for you all to get to see what we are gonna do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I've said before, our little baby.
It really is. And it's nice because, obviously we're recording this in the grand year of 2025
Yeah.
where there's so many wild things happening in the world and so many things that are really out of our control and it's so nice to be able to just sit down with one of my besties and just like chat and yap for like a little while about things that I think a lot of people can relate. On one of our last episodes on season 1, we talked about mental health and kind of
Hmm.
processing, different kinds of mental health struggles. And I think that episode in particular, I know resonated a lot with a lot of my Twitch audience, and it's nice hearing feedback on that and kind of being able to share in a more open and vulnerable place.
Yeah.
Um, Especially when we're in such crazy times to kind of hear somebody else talk about it and know like, oh, I'm not alone in this, and that there are other people who are feeling the impact of things and still doing their best to have like a silly, goofy time online. Because honestly, that's kind of all we can do right now is just approach it to the best of our ability, one day at a time.
Yeah. Literally just like doing our best to provide silly, goofy, mind numbing sometimes content on the
Yes.
internet so everybody can forget about the worries and struggles of the world. Because there definitely is a lot going on. And so, we just want to like provide a good little distraction. Um,
Yes.
that definitely like plays into part of what our episode is going to be about. Because we want
100%.
to get onto the topic of crashing out.
Yeah, the crash out. It's crash out season for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
you
absolutely,
know,
1,000%.
it's funny on TikTok, which that's a whole topic in itself. Um, I've been getting a lot of these videos talking about how like March and April actually like equates to crash out season. Like everyone has some theory about like the March theory or the April theory when it comes to friendships, relationships, like that there it just induces a crash out. And this year we
Interesting.
had Mercury in retrograde for like the whole time as well.
That's
So like
wild.
this year in particular, it is crash out season.
Oh no, I actually did not know that. That's wild. I wonder if it's
Yeah.
because like with the weather changing and stuff too, like we're starting to
Yeah.
get into like warmer weather. Um it's not going to be as cold. Like things are changing, like the weather's changing. And so it's like for those of us that have like seasonal depression and stuff like that, right? It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what the hell is going on? Like what's happening? Time for just regular
Yeah.
depression.
Exactly. Well, I guess it's considered spring now. Like I don't know when the first day of spring officially
I think the
was.
first day of spring was like a while ago. Like, let me check. What was the first day of spring?
I always
Oh,
forget to actively look for seasons because in Los Angeles we don't really get them. It goes from like cold to hot
that's right.
whenever.
Yeah. First day of spring was March 20th.
Well, shit. It's been
So it's been,
spring for a sec.
which is crazy because like any Canadians out there, like if you live within like southern Ontario-ish, like in the Toronto area, we had within the span of 24 hours, like last week, I can't remember what day it was, last week, Wednesday, I think,
Yeah.
within the span of 24 hours, snow and rain, and then it was like clear, and then hail, and then like a blizzard while raining, and then
That's
thunderstorms. It was
wild.
insane. Driving home was terrifying because,
You sent me that video and I was like, that is horrifying.
yeah, driving home was super scary. It was like pouring rain, so you could barely see anything. And the winds were really high too. So it was like swerving in between lanes. And I'm like, I
Uh,
probably shouldn't be driving on the highway. But here I was, driving on the highway in really crazy weather.
well, thankfully you're here to tell the tale, but that
Yeah.
is very, very scary.
It was super terrifying, but like lived. Hee hee. That's all that matters.
It's just so crazy because, growing up, I was always with like big snowstorms, big weather,
Hmm.
and like I became very used to that. And so then now living in Los Angeles, it's like there's no season. It's literally just it gets from cold to hot out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
literally last week we were in the uh like low 60s in Fahrenheit. Again, apologize for the lack of conversions. Low 60s, and then like today, we're easily up in the 80s, almost 90s actually. Yeah, because it's gotten hotter, which is just
60
like okay.
Fahrenheit is like 15 Celsius for everybody else that doesn't use Fahrenheit.
Thank you,
Yes.
bestie. I need to just like naturally start doing the conversions when I look at the temperature. Like I need to have both options.
The funny thing is too, I remember the last time we were like in person, we were looking up the conversion formula and I like totally
It's
forgot it.
so it's one of those things I think I know I've looked up more than anything, and I just can't. I can't. It doesn't stick. But what
To
can you do?
calculate Celsius, no, Fahrenheit to Celsius, subtract 32 from the Fahrenheit temperature, then multiply the result by 5 divided by 9
So wait,
or
okay.
0.5556.
We're at 80 right now. So 80 minus
Minus
35,
32
32. See? You just told me that. 80 minus 32.
times 0.5556.
5, 5, 5, 6. That's not right.
Why? What
There's
did you
no way.
get?
Wait,
Also want to do this calculation now. Literally, everybody listening, grab out your calculators. Take
grab your
80
calculator.
divided by 32 times 0.5556. That's not right.
What did you get?
I got 1.389.
Okay, the second time I did, I got 62.
Huh? We'd be dying if it was 62 degrees
I'm
Celsius.
so confused.
We would be
I'm too gay
burning
camp
to death.
math. Literally. Wait,
What? 80 divided by, no, 80 minus 32. Wait,
minus
what was I doing?
32
Did I do 80 divided by 32?
divided by.
I did.
Oh my gosh.
That's
So
why I
wait,
got
80 minus 32.
80 minus 32 um times 0.5556. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got 26 degrees.
Oh, now I got it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So what were
I
we
don't know what.
doing wrong?
I don't know.
I feel like
You
people are gonna
know,
listen to this, they're gonna do the calculation and they're gonna be like, these guys are idiots.
it is. To gay camp math, I apologize
Literally.
on behalf of the entire metric system or lack thereof. Oh my god.
We just straight up struggled. That was so bad.
It's okay. We're doing great. But yes, the weather definitely is playing a big factor, I think, into this season's crash out
Yes.
for
Yeah.
sure. And obviously, when it's already like when the weather change happens and a lot of people with seasonal depression or just any kind of depression in general and anxiety and all of
Mhm.
these things that we deal with on a day to day, all of it can be upsetting. And then obviously in the ripe old year of 2025, when so much is coming at us every single day,
Yeah.
it makes it even harder to navigate for sure.
Yeah.
So if you're crashing out in the current times, whatever you're crashing out over, valid. Very
Relationships
valid.
crashing out would actually make so much sense though, because like especially if like people started dating like right at the beginning of winter or whatever, because it's like cuffing
Yeah,
season. Cuffing season's
yeah.
like
It's coming. Yeah.
it truly is cuffing season.
Listen, I said this before. I don't think I've had a full on crash out, even though it's been warranted. Because there have been things that I don't talk about online for a few reasons. I mean, I'm pretty much an open book, but there are a few things when it comes to talking about IRL with people that aren't as chronically online, that out of
Mhm.
respect kind of for myself and respect for them and their situations, like I choose not to share online just out of respect for them. Um, but like some of the things that have happened offline, I am in full deserving of a big crash out. And I haven't had one. I've only had like small ones that like would be like a 3 second, like, oh, what the fuck?
Do you really
You
want
know?
to crash out though? Is having a crash out considered to be like a good thing?
I think sometimes it's necessary.
To just
I feel like
full on crash out?
yeah, like you gotta let it out. Like that's why. Because
True.
I feel like I'm the person who's like smiles and nods through a lot,
You should just
you
crash
know?
out and cuss people out.
Honestly, just go off.
Yeah, just get wasted and then like cuss
I'm
people.
gonna get wasted.
Gonna get wasted.
I don't know. I know crash outs can't be like they can get very toxic very quickly.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to necessarily have that kind of crash out, but I think I just need like a good like aggressive scream maybe
Yeah.
at a crash out.
If I were to ever fully crash out, I think I would like go off on everybody that I considered did something wrong to me.
Which fair,
Wait, I guess I
valid.
technically did have a crash out. This would have
Oh.
been like, well, you know about it.
I
This,
mean, I know about the crash out, but like what if you want to share, you don't have to share your processing of the crash.
well, not the YouTube one. This would have
Like,
been like, would it be last year? Last year.
yeah,
Like in the summer where I like
yeah.
did the big thing with somebody and was going off.
I don't think that. See, that to me was maybe this is why I don't even know if I've had a crush now. It's because I saw that as like setting boundaries and like standing up for yourself, like having like and going off, but valid going off.
I guess so. I
Like I
maybe.
didn't see that really as a crash out because you actively were like calling somebody on their behavior whilst drawing a boundary to protect yourself. It
True.
wasn't just like I'm gonna scream at you because I'm overwhelmed. It was like you fucked up. This can't continue.
Yeah.
That's different.
I guess that's a good way of putting it.
Because
We need
otherwise, you could say that I had a crash out last year too, around the same time.
we need people's opinions. Is this considered a crash out to go off on somebody for their behavior and just kind of like point out to them the wrongs in their behavior? Or is it just you sticking up for yourself, setting your boundaries, and letting people know?
I think it's knowing the details of the situation. I personally think it's the latter, but
True.
let us know
Yes,
what it,
tell us.
let
Yeah.
us know what you think is considered a crash out. I think that's
Yes.
the easiest way
And
to
that's the
ask
thing
that
too. I
also
think everybody
because
has like different definitions of what a crash out is.
yeah,
Cuz like my
yeah,
crash out that many people know about is I deleted my YouTube channel
yeah.
because I had a full moment very like recently enough where I'm like, "Oh my god, my YouTube channel is doing shit. I'm going to just delete it and start from scratch." And so I did. Kind of a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. I am regretting that I did that, but we're working with it and working on my new channel, seeing how that goes and picking up the
Go
pieces.
subscribe to Razzie's new channel.
Yeah, subscribe to my new YouTube
Go
channel.
subscribe.
Thanks.
I don't know. I feel like though, yeah, everyone has a different like definition of a crash out, and I think crash outs have also varying degrees. You know, like sometimes there's gonna be a big crash out, and it's gonna have the ripple effect where it affects so many aspects of your life.
Hmm.
And then there are just like some of those like silent crash outs where you're just like sitting alone crying and like going like you know and then it's done 10 minutes later. You know, it's like I think everyone has a different definition and there are different levels on on like a crash out scale
Yeah,
of what's considered. um but I think honestly anybody who's crashing out right now, it is so valid.
yeah,
like like obviously crash out within reason as far as like how it affects the other parts of your life and the people in your life, but like feel the feels because how else are we going to like actively be able to get through the day if we're not
exactly.
feeling them?
Yeah, like I'm very guilty of bottling my emotions and not telling people how I feel about things, and then I just like emotionally crash out.
Mhm.
I've had, and like full transparency again, this podcast is for like us being honest with you guys and talking about things that we really wouldn't talk about
Yes.
on stream and stuff. I kind of made a post on like Blue Sky and Twitter the other day where I talked about like how content creation is like really hard. Um, and that like, I've been streaming for 4 years, I've been creating content for 4 years, and it's tough to like go from having really high moments to really low moments and like having to learn how to deal with that and recover from
Yeah.
it, because I very much am like, I will fully admit, like I jokingly say I'm in my flop era, but I very much am in my flop era, and it's a matter of like acknowledging that you may not be where you used to be, like viewerships and numbers are low and stuff like that, but it's a matter of like how you deal with it, right? Not like you shouldn't let it affect you. You should use it as like opportunity to see what you can change, what you can do to grow, right? Because I feel like a lot of people just kind of sit in it and they're like, well, I suck. Like, how come this person's doing better and I'm doing the same thing and blah, 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 which, to be honest, I very much am like that sometimes, which where I need to stop. Like I definitely compare myself to other people and I'm like, like what are they doing when I'm like doing the same thing? Like I don't get it.
Right.
Um but I find that a lot of people like let that stick to them, and instead of like trying to grow and learn, um they just sit there and like the anger or the upset, where I'm like, yeah, I very much uh am like dealing with a low moment, like content creating wise, but I'm trying not to let it bother me. Obviously it does bother me, like I
Of
hold it
course.
in and then I like freak out and have my little crash out moment where I like break down.
Of course.
um but like, yeah, I messaged a friend about it and um I'm like, yeah, like I don't know what to do, like I'm freaking out kind of thing. Like, who knows where this is all gonna go? I should just quit everything. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I just need to keep trying and keep going and stuff like that. So it's interesting for sure. Crashing out in a bunch of different ways too.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like your perspective on it has been like has evolved a lot, and I've seen it grow, like how you kind of process and deal with the ups and downs of Twitch over the past few years, because like Twitch as a whole is going through like a moment right now where a lot of viewership is low, and I've been talking to a lot of different creators about it, and it definitely, because
Hmm.
we care about the content we make, we care about our viewers, we care about wanting to use our platform for good. We care so much about everything that Twitch is.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard when it doesn't feel like it's going well. And like I made kind of a choice this year because so much has happened. As I said, like some of it I'm very open and honest, but I'm also like I want to be respectful of the other people involved. So it's kind of a complicated position to feel like I can't talk about some things. But you know, I talked a little bit about it on the podcast. It's like we've had fires, we've had crazy shit
Hmm.
in LA. Like there's been all of that, some personal stuff. If you're on my Twitch, if you watch me on Twitch, you know that my mom has had some like pretty major surgery stuff over the
Hmm.
past few months, and so it's been like there's been a lot of stuff going on that like I I felt like I couldn't show up in my best for Twitch as well.
Yeah.
And so I can be upset at Twitch because the viewership is low or things are a little bit different. But I'm also like very well aware of by the fact that I haven't been online as much, it's going to take me a bit to get back to where I was, or just not even back to where I was, but just back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to beat yourself up when you see the numbers, but it's exactly that, like how you kind of move forward and process it and apply it of like what can I do to change, how can I be more consistent, how can I show up and have it be a fun time and not a stressful time,
Hmm.
how can I process the numbers and understand that things need to improve whilst also still enjoying it.
Yeah.
um and I feel like you've done a really good job of that recently, of like even though it's obviously hard and you've had your crash out moments about it, you've still been able to like enjoy the content that you're making and still find ways to persevere and push through it
Yeah.
rather than having it block you,
Well,
for
that's the thing
sure.
too, right? Like I always say, um, like content creation is something that I truly do enjoy. I find it fun. I'm sure like many people do. Like you also enjoy it. You find it fun. And it's like, yeah, you are gonna have moments where you're not doing the greatest, but like if you truly enjoy a craft or if you truly enjoy something that you're doing, just keep going, like
Yes,
don't let it affect you so much that you want to stop. Like the thought of stopping does pop up for everybody, right? Like it's like, okay,
of
maybe this
course.
is my
Yeah,
time to stop doing it. But it's like if you really enjoy it, you're not going to let any obstacle stop you from doing whatever you want to do, right?
yeah.
I fully had a moment like last stream where I'll call it an epiphany, but during my last stream, like I was playing the new game Repo with a bunch of friends. I freaking love that game. I am so addicted to the game. I cannot stop
It
playing
is like
it.
the game of the month. Like
It's
everyone is
so
obsessed.
good. It's so good. But I fully like midstream, like my social battery just died. And I was like, what if I end stream? But then like my friends are still streaming and I just want a game and like hang out with people. So what do I do? So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just keep streaming then. But then like I was talking about it, I'm like, like I don't always have to feel like I need to be on for things. Like
Yeah,
streaming, I don't need to be on for the podcast. I don't need to be on for like anything content creation. I don't really need to be on. Like, I can just be me. And like, I am being me for all of it. Just when I stream or like when I'm doing other things, I kind of turn up like the personality level a little bit, right?
Definitely. I
Which I
think
feel
we
like
all
is a
do that.
natural thing. Yeah, like everybody does that where like
We
your
all sing.
personality, I think we all sing. All everybody's personality gets turned up a little bit, right? Like I
Yeah,
remember talking to our friend Jen, like we had conversations like years ago where our personalities get turned up to like a 10 when we're streaming a lot of the times. And that's why sometimes when you stream, like if you're not a very personable, outgoing, like extroverted person, by the time you finish a stream or like halfway through your stream, you're kind of like dead tired, right? Which is like
yes,
kind of sucks to say because it's like if you enjoy something, then why are you getting tired? It kind of
yeah.
contradicting. It's like hyper, like
I mean, I feel like, at least from my experience,
hypocritical.
even even in like going out and hanging out with friends, even people that I absolutely adore,
Yeah.
and in a lot of ways end up filling my energy. It also can be like it's a very human thing, especially for people who are slightly more introverted, that even if you are enjoying it and you are having a great time with the people,
Yeah.
at the end of the day when you get home you're like, I am going to face plant into bed right now because I am exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, you can have be with the most loving supportive people and you're not really turning it on, but it still drains you to a certain degree.
Mhm.
Like, so it makes sense on streaming, like if you love it and you care and you're putting energy into it, you're still using your energy even when you love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
it's
like
not a black and white situation, unfortunately,
right.
but it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense why at the end of a stream, even when we're having the most amazing time with the most amazing people,
Yeah.
it's time for bed.
And it's yeah,
Like,
exactly. And it's not like, like anybody's being ungrateful for anything or like, like it's a hassle for them or anything. It's just like when you have such a limited like energy for a stream because not only are you dealing with the stream but you're dealing with everything else that happens throughout your daily life, right? So it's like you got to
yes,
split the energy between everything and then it's like okay, now I have time to do the thing that I love but I don't have enough energy to do the thing that I love, so it becomes a little bit
yes.
tiring.
The
um
compartmentalizing is really challenging
yeah.
sometimes. I mean, that's specifically why, like, I talked about this on my stream, my first stream back after a couple weeks off. Um, Compartmentalizing I find very, very challenging because I'm such a hard on my sleeve person.
Hmm.
Like, and I know because I've watched past streams of mine where when I am not doing well, I can see it on my face.
Yeah.
And I don't, like, maybe it's just because I'm aware of that, but I don't think that's fun to watch when I see
Right.
somebody else not having a good time or and just trying to force a
Force their
stream.
way through, yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah. So I made the decision. It's like right now I am not okay. So I'm not gonna stream, and
Yeah.
it sucks because I want to stream, but
Yeah.
as soon as the camera goes on, I'm gonna look at it. Somebody's gonna ask if I'm okay, and I'm gonna crash out on camera.
And that's the thing, like
So
that's the tough part too, right? Because it's like a lot of stuff with social media or like content creating is consistency.
yeah,
But it could be hard to be consistent when it's like you're tired and a lot's going on and whatnot. So it's very weird for sure. Um, but yeah, I had that like little moment on stream because I like fully, I don't even know if this is a term, but I like fully emotionally disassociated on that stream. I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to stream
yeah,
anymore. But then I'm like, I don't have to like be at a 10 all the time on stream.
yeah,
It's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I'm still enjoying myself. There's nothing like crazy going on that I don't want to. So like, why not just stream at like a 5, And like,
yeah,
I think having moments like that is okay because then it also like just reminds people that you're human, right? Like you're not some like happy go lucky all the time, everything's fine kind of person, right?
yeah,
And it's a good reminder for people that it's like, oh yeah, like my streamer that I watch, whether they're like a comfort streamer, a cozy streamer, like a chaotic streamer, like whatever kind of streamer they are, at the end of the day, they're just people with emotions kind of thing.
Absolutely. I sometimes forget that for myself because I think also a big part of it is just being a face cam streamer.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone's always watching all of your emotions. And as you're reading the messages, as you're processing, as you're playing, it's like, and I'm a very expressive person, which is, I think, why people like watching me is that I do have a reaction. Um, but I sometimes forget that it's like the peaks and valleys are okay.
Hmm.
And that is something that I definitely want to kind of focus on more in my upcoming streams is like I don't have to be like everything's fine, we're all doing great,
Yeah.
slay, work all the time.
Yeah.
um because even though it can be fun and it's like a lot of people like that aspect of my content, which I like that thing,
Well,
great,
because it's
thank
like
you.
also like
I'm also a person.
it's a weird thing to think about, but like a lot of people um like look up to us as streamers or just like
Yeah,
look up to us in general, right? Which is very sweet. Like to everybody that does that, thank you
very
so much. I
sweet.
appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
But it's like, when you look up to a person, um, if they're not doing well and you have things that you're concerned about, then it's like, oh my God, like this person that I look up to is not like at 100. What's going on? Oh no, now I'm gonna think about my own problems, like what's going on in my life, and now I'm worried.
Yeah,
And it's like that can also be like affecting to a viewer. So it's like as a streamer, like you think about those things and it's like, oh, okay, maybe like I don't want to stream because I don't want people to get worried. Um, but we're both very much people that like to have conversations with our communities. So it's like even
yes,
if we don't stream at 100, like streaming at like 50% and then having conversations with people is always like such a fun time as well.
definitely. I think I've learned a lot within the last year, particularly when it comes to how my community, how understanding community can really be.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think is the best way to describe it, because I feel like everyone is doing their best to present themselves on their best day. That
Hmm.
is what social media is. Um, and being able to kind of create that like chill, yappy, funny, but also like very real environment is something I'm very proud of. And I want to be able to give my best in those situations.
Yeah.
But obviously, sometimes there are just days where that's not an option. And I actually had this conversation on one of my last streams where like a few viewers actively shared like it doesn't matter like what you're doing, like we're always going to show up, you can stream whenever you want to, there's no pressure, that like we support you unconditionally.
Yeah.
And having them saying that, like actively verbalizing that to me, first of all, almost cried on stream, but that's not new for me. um but it was also that affirmation of like, okay, no, the people who want to be here are going to want to be here no matter what level I'm at.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the people who aren't, that's totally okay. Like I'm not for everyone, and that's something that has taken years to understand,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, I'm not for everyone, that's okay. So the people that are going to show up and the people who want to be there will be, and the people who don't want to be, they don't have to be, and that's okay.
Right. Exactly.
um and I think I've just kind of, with this last break, um and kind of coming back and slowly easing back into it, I'm giving myself the space for that.
Yeah.
And I'm incredibly grateful to the viewers who said that, because honestly, it stuck with me and it meant a lot. So,
Giving yourself space and
yeah,
holding space. I'm
holding
holding my
space, reaching for
pinky.
pinky. I'm holding my
Holding space.
like holding space. Um, but yeah, Twitch is an interesting space, and like being able to have a crash out about numbers or about things, very valid, particularly when it's not just the only thing going on in life.
Yeah.
Like there's so much happening. I mean, you've been extremely busy with work on top of stream and everything else. Um, it makes sense. It makes sense why you've had your crash out moments, you know?
Yeah. It's one of my like I would totally call it a fault, right? Like I'm for I'm all for like nobody's perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. Um I would consider myself to be very uh what's the word? Like self-reflective, or like
Yeah.
I pay attention to the things that I do and how I feel and stuff, but I fully admit, like I've talked to people about this before, where I 1,000% am somebody that like gets jealous, and
Mhm.
deals with envy, and it's bad. Like I, I talked to a friend about it, and like we talked about they like brought up how it's like a normal feeling for people to have, right?
Yeah, it's
Um,
very human.
yeah, and I'm like, it's such a like it's to me personally, like it feels like such a nasty, like icky feeling though. I don't like it, right? And so in the content creation space, like I will fully admit I very much get jealous of like people um when they're doing successful and whatnot. Like cause I'll look at it and I'm like, but why not me? Right?
Yeah.
But it's like the thing is like it can be me, right? Like if it works for people, it's gonna work out for you eventually. And that's like the thing that I need to like I keep reminding myself, and I need to keep reminding myself of. Um and it's like the worst part is when it's friends. Because I've
Yeah.
unfortunately, to be honest, have looked at friends' content and I'm like, they're doing so great. Like, why am I falling behind though? What is happening? And that's like one of
Yeah.
the worst feelings ever. Um, and so like that is also like what plays into my crash out as well, because I'm like comparing myself to everybody. And I know
Yeah.
that it's like a normal feeling, but I hate it so much. I find it to be like such an ugly feeling.
It's one of those things that I think, because social media as a whole is very much built itself off of comparison,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't like, I go down those roads all the time, and I think the the way I've had to readjust it, because I feel like I was sitting in a lot of jealousy, or a lot of, not even so much jealous of other people as much as it was like then comparison of like why, like internalizing it of like, why am I not good enough to be doing what they're doing too,
Yeah.
rather than it being like, oh, I want to be them. It was a like, why can't I do it too?
Right. Exactly.
um and the way that I've had to like reframe things for my mental health, like it's taken a lot of energy to do it, but kind of redefining what success means to me.
Yeah.
Like even if it's each individual stream or each individual post, like obviously have goals and have passions and things that you want to expand on, right? But for me, like being able to say like, oh, this stream went really well because we were able to, we finished whatever build we were working on. That to me is successful.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about some of the things that are happening in the world. Um, and we didn't have any crazy trolls come in. Successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like kind of zooming the lens in a little bit more on just what I can maybe control a little bit.
Right.
And it sucks because it doesn't, the feelings of jealousy don't just go away,
Mm-hmm.
but how to frame it so that it's something that maybe you can control to work towards, rather than sitting in there and like feeling like
Down on yourself.
helpless.
Yeah.
Yeah. um I don't know, and it's hard, especially when a lot of our friends, like, and the people that we trust in our life are also content creators, because it's definitely like you want to be as supportive as you can for other people
Yeah.
and be like, yes, work, but you're also like, oh shit, why isn't it me?
Right.
So it's very valid and it's very real, and like I try to, in those moments, I try to look back on some of the really cool things that I'm very grateful I've been able to
Mm-hmm.
do, to remind me that it's like it doesn't have to be all the time,
Yeah.
you know, when things go my way, but it's nice to know like, okay, like some good things have happened that I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. It's just right now that the train's at a pit stop, and that's okay.
Yeah.
you know, um, because it's not a linear experience. It's not a
No,
linear
absolutely not.
like world. Like it's
Yeah.
all up and down, left and right,
Yeah.
upside down. I don't even
Like you could
know.
have like a very steep, amazing incline, be steady, and then all of a sudden crash the fuck out, and
Crash.
that's it. Right?
Yep.
And then it's like you got to work to going up that incline again. But it also plays into the thing where it's like everything works out differently for people. And the timeline's not the same for everybody, right? Like
Yeah.
I know people who have been streaming for like 4 months and have such a huge following, lots
Wild.
of subscribers, lots of followers, doing really well. And then there's people who have been streaming for years who are, like still averaging like 3 viewers kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's works out differently for people for sure.
Yeah. I saw an article not that long ago talking about Twitch specifically and live viewership. And it was really interesting. And I think they do this kind of like update thing like 2 or 3 times a year. And it said something along the lines of like how 40% of all Twitch streamers are just averaging 3%. And 12% of all Twitch streamers are affiliates.
Yeah,
And within those affiliates, most people are averaging 5.
that's
Like
wild.
just enough to be affiliate.
Yeah.
And honestly, it made me feel a lot better about myself.
That's the thing too, like I feel like a lot of people don't really have conversations about like because nobody really likes to talk numbers, right?
Yeah.
Because like sometimes it makes people feel bad about like where they are themselves in their
Yeah.
own content kind of thing. But it's like the more conversations you have with people, then like the more you realize you can relate to other content creators and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like I had a conversation with a friend a couple nights ago where they were saying something. I'm like, oh my God, like that's literally what I was crashing out about a couple days ago. And I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
nice to know that there are other people out there who are kind of experiencing the similar thing that I'm dealing with.
Yes. Yeah. It's complicated because numbers, especially from the viewer perspective, it's like you want your one view to be enough for the
Yeah,
streamer, you know? And I think it definitely can be. I mean, I'm so grateful for every single viewer who tunes in, all of the lurkers, all the people who choose to spend some of their day with me. I'm so grateful for. And I
hmm,
very much look at each viewer and each username as another person.
yeah,
Like I value their time as much as they are valuing my content. I value each individual one. So it's kind of hard to separate that feeling from the number itself.
yeah,
But from the content creator's perspective, it's like, I wish there were more viewers sometimes.
yeah.
It's like, oh, I
Well,
wish, I wish.
I think it's safe to say we all, like every single person that's a streamer, has definitely been like, I
Exactly.
wish I had more viewers. Yeah.
Exactly. But it doesn't take away from the viewers that are there and the
Yes.
support that's there at
Yeah.
all. It's just from the like kind of nitty gritty content creator business side of things.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, this was a lower numbered stream. Um, and that kind of sucks. But it doesn't mean it was a bad stream or that the people who were there aren't valuable and special in their own right.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but yeah, talking numbers is hard, and it's nice to talk to other content creators about it because even the top of the top streamers who are partnered and usually are sitting at like a decent number, they're struggling right now too.
Yeah.
Like I have one friend who is a partnered streamer, works so hard, and her numbers have been lower than they were for a really long time, and it's
Right.
like Twitch is going through it and things are different and it's affecting even the people who we look up to in the content creator space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also like because there's a lot of different streaming platforms now. Like you could stream on TikTok, you could stream on YouTube. So I feel like that has a big change in everything for sure.
Yeah. I think because there's going to be another TikTok ban.
Yeah, I heard.
uh is that today? Tomorrow? I think the 8th, so tomorrow. Um I think that'll be interesting
Yeah.
for again more US censorship and viewership going to be going
Yep.
crazy. So that'll be kind of fun. That might be my tipping point to my crash out. You never know.
TikTok goes away and then all of a sudden Estella crashes out.
Listen, what can you do? I'll just put it in, I made a little folder on my phone that's literally called the hell folder, and that's where TikTok lives, and that's
Oh
the
my
only thing
God.
that's in it. And I'm like, that'll just be that'll be there because it can't be used if
Yeah.
we don't have it. But I'm not deleting it
Yeah,
because
no, just
that
keep it.
the last time TikTok went, like people deleted off their phone and they couldn't get it back on their phone for like 2 months.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah, no,
it just
keep
means
it.
that the App Store doesn't support updates. So
VPN.
we're not gonna tell anybody.
Exactly.
This is a private call between our viewers or our
Yeah.
listeners and us. Nobody
Yes.
tell anybody.
Nobody needs to know. All
No,
Americans listening,
nobody
don't delete
needs to
TikTok.
know.
VPN, don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anyone. Yeah, we're on the edge of some big crash outs. So I hope all of you are downloading all of your cute edits and stuff from TikTok as you see them.
Yeah.
And have all the cute things that you can look back on and be like, "Oh, TikTok, the good old days." While we
Literally.
go through go through the next big crash out
Yeah.
because this is a wild time, friends, and I hope everyone's doing okay
Yeah,
to the best of their ability, controlling what you can. Oh, big feels,
the
big
struggling
feels.
times. We're going through it.
We are, we are. But there's so much good that we can try to create for our individual lives, and for me, with stream and being back online has been really lovely and special. But it's also nice knowing like the community and everyone, all of our listeners and viewers know like offline obviously has to take precedence sometimes in
Mhm.
getting through the offline hurdles.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like we're all doing our very best to show up to the best of our ability with best of intentions.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now. And I think this podcast is something that both of us really love doing and love being able to have like a little bit more of a heart to heart with our viewers and our listeners.
Yeah.
Like it gives a little bit more perspective on where the two of us sit in real time.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, because there's definitely a lot going on, and like it's kind of like depressing to talk about these things on stream. Like, I know that like our
Yeah.
communities wouldn't mind it, but like as streamers, we never want to bring down like the vibe of our stream.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like when a random chatter would come in and drop some
Trauma
like
dump.
super depressing lore,
Yes.
and it's like, oh, cool. I feel like that's the same thing like
Yeah.
with the streamer, like you wouldn't want to drop something like super sad that
No.
could like ruin the vibe of the stream and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I think the biggest takeaway from us doing this podcast that I've heard from viewers is it's like it's nice that there is a little bit of separation to really like have like a fun escapism distracting time on stream and then being able to like listen to us yap about whatever we're yapping about
Hmm.
like kind of as they go through their daily lives, they put us on while they're doing their laundry or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like to kind of have it be like a FaceTime call with some of your besties where it's real, it's raw, and it's a little bit more like, as I said, like a little bit more of a heart to heart, so that the vibes are still fun and escapism and distracting, and you know have that visual effect on stream, but then for it to be just kind of like a separate, more calm. It's a little bit more NPR style. Like a little more calm, but that there's the separation so the vibes can still be whatever the vibe is that they want to participate in.
Yeah.
It's consensual depression.
Consensual depression is wild.
How
That's
else would you describe
crazy. I
it?
guess that's yeah. I can't think of any other way to describe it. That is a good way of putting it.
I don't know. That feels like a t-shirt to me.
We now have seasonal depression, regular depression, and
Consensual
consensual
depression.
depression.
I don't think I'm gonna live that one down. Whoopsies.
That's a t-shirt for sure. Just like a list, like seasonal depression, regular depression,
Yeah,
consensual depression.
consensual
Check.
depression. That's funny. Oh my goodness.
But yeah,
Well,
I
we've
feel
got a lot
like
up in store.
yeah. Uh Lots of crash out. No, kidding. Not allowed to
Yeah,
crash out.
I mean,
Hopefully not.
I hope not, but like if it happens, it
It
happens.
happens, yeah, and you all will be seeing it, I guess, because we are online.
But off stream.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, online but off
Boom.
stream. Ba-dum-ts. But yeah,
Oh
we have a lot in
goodness.
store for the podcast. This season, we are going to be introducing guests, um,
Yes.
on our episodes. I think we're trying to aim for like three guests, I think is what we said.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, so we have a couple guests. We're gonna start doing that. We're gonna try to do like little questionnaire sessions between the two of us every now and then.
Yes.
Kind of thing, just to like ask random questions and do more of like a deep dive of ourselves and like who we are as
Yeah.
people. So there's a lot planned out for this dream. I think we did talk about eventually doing like a actual like face to face, like we'll record ourselves talking, like it's not
Yeah.
just our voices, like you'll be able to see our faces on
Yeah.
an episode and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot in store for the podcast. um it's- Apologies for not being as consistent with having episodes out every other Wednesday, but we're still doing it. The podcast is still around. We are going to be putting out episodes whenever we can. Life gets busy, sometimes we get sick and things happen. So there's been lots of times where we've messaged each other and we're like, rain check.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like we're living in a time right now where there's just so much happening. It's hard to juggle all the balls in the air, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's there's a lot happening. But we do really care and we're putting as much time as we can aside for it and we're so excited for this season. I mean,
Hmm.
some of the guests I know all of our Twitch viewers are going to be very excited that they're on our little podcast. And it's going to be really fun. We have some really lovely people that we have gotten to know through Twitch and have become kind of staple people in our lives.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of the coolest things about Twitch, honestly, is the fact that so many wonderful friendships can be fostered from it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into that this season and kind of um, showcase what Twitch and online friendships can become. Um, and yeah, a little bit more deep dives, a little bit more getting to know us, and
Hmm.
hopefully we won't crash out. But you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
As
You
long
never
as we
know.
don't say anything problematic,
You
we should be
know,
fine.
I don't think we're really not problematic people. Like
No.
we're pretty like the craziest thing. Like sometimes we lead down an innuendo, but beyond that, we're really not that problematic.
Yeah, no, not at all. Like literally if you were to see either of us say something problematic, like that's like the end of it. That's when you know we're
Literally,
like given up.
literally. No, I think I don't see that being in our cards, but you never know. Again, we might crash out. Things might just go fucking crazy. You never know. But no, this season is going to be amazing, and I'm so excited for it. And as always, you know, we have our blue sky,
Hmm.
where all of our unhinged, chaotic, episode album covers go. So if you're
Yeah.
interested in seeing the crazy shit that I make at 2 a.m., go go follow us on Blue Sky. Obviously, follow us on our individual platforms, because we are still active on those, even when we've taken little breaks or anything. Like we still are active on our individual pages as
Hmm.
well. So, you know, got to keep up. Speaking of Razzie,
Yes.
where can they find you currently?
I can be found on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram at Razializa. And where can you be
Word.
found?
I can be found on Instagram, Twitch, Blue Sky, YouTube, and I still have my Twitter account, but I'm really not using it. So do that with what you will. But at Stella M Stone,
Woohoo.
and of course, Online OffStream Podcast, or
Hmm.
Online OffStream on Blue Sky, and we do have our Twitter account going, but it's mostly just for podcast announcements.
Yeah.
Um, so you won't see any of the cute chaos over there, but Blue Sky is kind of where it's at.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions, we are going to be doing a little bit more of a question segment and implementing that
Mm-hmm.
into our episodes. So if you have any questions, feel free to send them to Razzie, to myself. You
Yeah.
can literally post them in the Discords or anything. But you can also use hashtag online offstream pod on Twitter or Blue Sky, and we'll be checking that hashtag for any specific questions that you might have.
Yes.
So yeah, season two, BV.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Brand new season. We got plenty of stuff in store for the season. I'm very excited, and I hope that you're all excited for what we have planned out for you all. Woohoo.
It's gonna be a good one. Yay!
Thanks so much for
Thank you
listening to
guys
our
so much for
episode.
listening.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.